Dustin was one of our multi-sport athletes when I was here as an athletic director, so I got to watch a lot of games.
And I was helped with the quarterbacks and coached quarterbacks, just kind of mechanics and stuff. I know Coach Stern would raise the bar and put the pressure on him, and then I'd kind of take him off to the side and tell him it's going to be okay, and we'd fix it and work on his mechanics and stuff. So I got to work with him quite a bit.
You know, Dustin was a superstar athlete at Hamilton Heights, and I think anything he touched, it turned into golden. But you would never know it because he was as good on the field as he was in the classroom, in the hallways, in the cafeteria. He was humble, he showed respect to everyone, and polite, and he just exemplified what a Hamilton Heights athlete should be.
If we had to run the football to win, he'd hand it off. If we had to go through him to win, he'd take on that responsibility too.
He could throw the ball with a lot of velocity, and I know just warming up with him, I had several times where I had some jammed fingers and stuff like that.
I remember talking to Chuck one time. He had been over to a junior high football game, and drool was coming down his face. And I said, Chuck, what's going on? And he said, you're not going to believe it. You're just not going to believe this kid we got coming next year. He said, his name's Dustin Sherer. And so these guys been waiting. They were waiting a long time for him.
We saw him coming, and he's the reason we changed our philosophy and what we did. We Coach Stern come in here, and we were ISO, toss, power football. You know, I taught coach quarterbacks a year, believe it or not, and I had to teach them how to toss a ball into a barrel. You know, so we saw Dustin coming. We changed our whole philosophy about what we're doing. I think he was a hard worker. I think he did whatever he could to make himself and his teammates better. He knew that making himself better would make the whole program better.
The moment never really got to him. I mean, he was just able to handle whatever the situation was and do the best he could. He was really competitive about it. But then you'd say something to him, you know, he'd just give you kind of that little, smile, you know. And I mean, he never, no matter what the situation was, he was just calm under pressure.
We got to meet some people that I would have never got to meet if it wasn't for Dustin Sherer. We were both out at his house when he signed with Wisconsin, and Barry Alvarez, and I think 3 of his assistants flew in on the Land O'Lake jet, and he wanted to play in the All-Star game to represent his teammates and Hamilton Heights. And there's a lot of coaches don't want kids to play in that game. It's just a chance for them to get hurt. And I remember Coach Alvarez said, "You want to play?" And Dustin said, "Yes." He said, "Then play."
In that All-Star game, he was a quarterback for it, and Coach Stern was the head coach, and the North was trailing, and we got into a situation, and Dustin called the whole series, the whole, and marched the guys down the field to win the All-Star game that year, and that was just all on Dustin making decisions and making plays and stuff like that, so that was pretty cool.
But we got down, scored a touchdown, we're behind 1 point, and there's 50-some seconds to go, am I right? And we get the touchdown, and I said, "Go for 2. We got to win this here." I think that they drew a play up. We hadn't run all year long, and Dustin managed to get people set up and get the play run. We scored.
They ran it just perfect to get the 2-point conversion, and that was a big game. That was our first big-time regional championship, so that was good.
That, to me, just showed what type of athlete, no matter what he did, he was going to be competitive at it.
Everybody wanted to be a friend with Dustin, and I don't think it's because he was a good athlete. I think he showed respect for his coaches, his teammates.
Yeah, Dustin, he was a big-time player. I mean, even through his career, you know, he had some coaching changes at Wisconsin and stuff like that, but I remember his senior year, he got to play in a bowl game. He started against Florida State down in Orlando and had an opportunity and, you know, threw a touchdown pass against Florida State. I mean, he was big time, you know, and but like you said, he's still just humble. I still see him all the time, and you deserve it all. I said, you did a lot of firsts for us in our football program, and it's just deserving that you're in the first class for the Hall of Fame here.
If I had anybody else, if I had a son that had a chance to make it, I'd want him to be like you.
Dustin, when they called, Arnie Cooper called and asked me to be on the committee for the Hall of Fame selection committee, and he said, pick out 10 people that you think should be on. And the first person that jumped in my head was Dustin Sherer, because nobody, the 13 years that I was an athletic director, nobody came close for me. And I think you worked hard, you earned it, you deserve it, and so glad that you are on the very first class of the Hamilton Heights Hall of Fame. Congratulations, bud.